I'm a crazy old Englishman that lives in Latvia, in my home. Basically, what I am is a drifter. I live outdoors most of the time, unless it's raining, and then we all sleep under here. You probably think this is a pretty extreme life. This is no different than going camping at the weekend. It's just that I go camping every day.
Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're meeting up with Mike in Latvia, who describes himself as a drifter.
He lives a very alternative lifestyle, so make sure you stick around to see exactly how he makes it work. And let us know in the comments what you think of the video, and if you do want to see more content like this, then make sure you're subscribed. Back to it.
Alright folks, so I'm Mike. This is Jeb, and this one's Charlie, and I'm a crazy old Englishman that lives in Latvia, in my home. It's a two-wheel cart, which will be powered by horses, which we'll see over there a bit later on. But until recently, I've been pulling it myself. I guess you could say I live a bit of an extreme lifestyle, and being a masochist, I enjoy it. Basically, what I am is a drifter. I'm not a nomad, I'm not a tourist. I go wherever I feel like. I wake up in the morning and I think, okay, I'll go this way this time. Okay, I come to a crossroads, I'll go down there. Or there'll be a particular place that I want to visit, but I don't have a goal. I stay wherever I can put a camp. I'm homeless, but I'm intentionally homeless. It's just something different, you know? It's hard to put your finger on it. When I knew you guys were coming, I've spent a lot of time trying to work out how I can explain myself to you guys. But when it comes down to it, you've got to experience it yourselves to understand that you don't need all the flash gear, you don't need everything. There was something I read a long time ago. There's only two things you need in your life. You need shelter and you need food. And I have shelter and I have food. I also have the luxury that I have companionship. And it's just right. The simplicity of it is just so right. It's weird. And I'm not an evangelist. I'm not telling everybody they've got to live like this. But when you do live like this and it feels right, you just don't want to leave it. It's just too pure. Why Latvia? Why not? I mean, it's not England, because I was in the military before. I spent more time of my life overseas than I have in the UK, and Europe has got a lot more to it than the UK can give, and they're certainly a lot more accommodating. I moved here in 2006 with a job. My intention was basically to earn good money and live a lifestyle in Europe, and then it sort of changed. I'd given up the job working, and I started living on abandoned farms, looking after the farms either as maintenance or security for the places. And eventually I got persuaded by two friends to get involved in a project with them, rebuilding a hunting lodge. What was promised never really materialised, and I can remember on a Thursday night I realised I was being made homeless. And there's two routes you can take when you're facing something like that. You can let it dictate your life and go and live on the street and beg and decide that life is pretty bad, or you can see it as the start of something new. I decided basically just to embrace it. From that moment on, yeah, my life became fun. I was surprised how quickly you can adapt into a life with nothing. And it does get to the stage where you want a life with nothing. You know, you like the challenge. I don't have problems in my life, I have challenges, because problems are negative issues. Challenges are something which you're going to fix yourself. Right now, I'm the security guard for somebody, I guess. I'm basically staying with a Russian family who are building their new home. They're moving out of the city to come and live here, and I'm looking after the place when there's nobody working here. It's a fantastic place. It's suitable for me. It's got the facilities that I need, and it's got the ability for my horses so that I can start working with them. Alright folks, so yeah, this is my home. This is where I spend my nights. I live outdoors most of the time, unless it's raining, and then we all sleep under here. And what it is a two-wheeled cart. And it cost me the princely sum of €80. Up till recently, this was man-powered. I'd pull it along with me, and when I find somewhere suitable to stay, be it a small wood, part of the national forest, or I've been invited to stay at somebody's place, I'll pull up and I'll put my tarps on. I have a waterproof roofing tarp, and then I cover it over with plastic sheet, basically just to stop the wind. I have my own heating system in the shape of Jeb and Charlie, who share the bed with me. I have a foam mattress which was taken from an old sun lounger, and I have my sleeping bag. I also have a couple of duvets which we wrap ourselves up in if it gets too cold. Basically, when we're moving on again, all I do is I have a procedure. It takes me about half an hour, where I'll fold this all up, stick it on top, and I've got some netting which I put on top to stop it all falling off. I am upgrading the system. That I now have 2 horses which I'm in the process of training, which will be my locomotion. Okay, so my electric setup is 100-watt solar panel. Actually, I have 2, because I have one for the electric fence for the horses as well. But this, with the solar controller, is enough for my electric needs. I have hair clippers as well, and they're USB powered, but 12-volt 100-watt system is more than enough for my needs. This gives me enough power summer and winter, so I don't need to upgrade it. Again, when you see some of the setups that you guys have been to, they've spent thousands. I spent €30. I've had this 9 years, so it does the job. You know, you learn to live within your means rather than have to chase the bling that other people like. What do people think when they see me? They're generally shocked. It's not often you see a guy living like this. You're dragging a cart behind him. But on the whole, it's positive responses. Even the police and the local government, they're more intrigued into the lifestyle rather than worried about the fact they've got some old guy who's camping out on their land. Right, so basically the cart during the summer and autumn months is just a bare cart with a tarp around the outside as a windbreak. Come in the winter, I'll cover over with layers of tarp, which are the waterproofing, and an expense I paid out for is some roofing membrane, which cost me, I think it was €3. It's probably the best €3 I ever spent. And then we take it back to all its glory, the cart itself. So when you live like this, you have to have special things that you can be really proud of. And I'm a gourmet cook. You give me a can of beans and some minced beef, and I will cook you a meal that you will not forget. So this will be my kitchen area. I use wood that I can scrounge or scavenge. And the most important part of my kitchen is my Kelly kettle. This is essential because it gives me my nectar of life, my coffee. I think that's probably my one and only vice, is I drink way too much coffee. So this is my cooker. It's 2 buckets, one inside the other. Basically a bit like a rocket stove, and it's what I do all my cooking on. And as you can see, there's smoke. Sometimes I'll actually smoke the meat before I cook it. I cook to the speed of the fire. If I've got a decent fire going, it's then a case of just placing the pots around to the cooler spots. As far as the coffee's concerned, I use the Kelly kettle or Gilly kettle. It's a 2-litre sleeve over a chimney. Put the water in here, have a small fire going there, and we're talking twigs, nothing special. Even this would be too big for it. You put it on, and again, it's like a rocket stove. The flames come up the middle and heat the water, and it heats up as quickly as an electric kettle will. The ritual of making the coffee is just as important as drinking the coffee. It sort of takes you back to the simplistic side of things. It gives it a different dimension. Okay, so yeah, my income's between 40 and 60 euros a month, and that pays for the dog's food and my food. We eat the same food. I don't eat dog food. They eat what I eat. And again, Latvia, although the prices are sort of shooting up like they are with the rest of the world, I can still feed myself for probably about 10 euros a week. I eat 1 meal a day because that's the easiest way to do it, especially when you're moving. And I eat simple things, so I buy flour, I buy grains, I forage. Obviously not in the winter, I don't forage, but I can forage, I can trap, I can fish. So I do well. I'm not going to turn down the opportunity of earning extra money, because then I can do really well out of it, or I can save and get things that I need. But you just learn to live within your means. It's surprisingly easy to live with a minimal income when you don't have a mortgage or utility bills and things like that to pay. I have 2 websites, Patreon and Ko-fi. Patreon is more for subscribers, whereas Ko-fi is more the opportunistic supporters. And it's easier for somebody to spend €3 buying me a coffee than it is to commit to 10 euros or 15 euros a month on supporting me. And surprisingly, €3 makes a big difference. That can feed us for 2 days, and that can feed us well. So I'd rather have somebody who would rather give me a free coffee than actually commit to spending large amounts of money, especially again in this day where people are sort of worrying about how to pay their bills. The benefit of this particular winter camp is the fact that we have a decent water supply here. Carries fish, and I'm able to fish here to boost my meals. It's also the water source for the horses and for the washing. So basically I'll pull a bucket of water, add a bit of vinegar, and then wash with that. I don't bother with soap powders or anything like that because it's not important. And in the summer, because I'm not crazy, I'll swim. I can swim in it and give myself a wash. The good thing about Latvia is it's got a high water table. There's lots of lakes, there's lots of rivers, and there's lots of free parking as well. That's the other thing, is I have an app, Park for Night, which gives you where the parking spaces are for overnight parking or things like that. And there's lots of camping sites, free camping sites which are available, and generally are next to lakes or large ponds like this. So I don't have a problem. Villages generally have a communal well, and all of the houses, all the farms out here will have their own wells or water or boreholes. So never have a problem with water. Worst case scenario, I'll spend 50 cents buying a bucket of water from a shop. Okay, so this is Nico and Naylor. They're yearlings. They're about 15 months, 16 months old. Basically, they're becoming my mode of transport. I'm going to train them up to pull my cart. They've become my friends. They're amazing animals. Just to sit with horses is one of the most grounding experiences you could ever have. They are majestic. They've given me a new outlook on life. They've calmed me down. I've had a couple of instances recently where things have been pretty stressful, and I find that just being with them for 20 minutes is so relaxing. It's a new experience for me, you know. I mean, I had a bull before, which I was training to be my horse. Obviously, I've got my dogs. I've worked with dogs all my life. They have a place in my life, but the horses have brought something unique that I didn't expect. I'm looking forward to us continuing our adventure together. Once we move on, these will be with me for the rest of my life, and I do intend to continue living like this until I can't anymore. I found my niche in the world. It's taken me 50 years to find out where I really need to be in life, where I feel right, and I feel right just living like this. It's not a case of running away from things, it's just finding where you need to be. I wouldn't want to change it for the world. So yeah, okay, if we go this way, guys, this is going to be where Nico and Naylor are going to be moved to for winter. I'll be building a shelter for them, but also I'll have some fresh grazing. More importantly, we have a toilet. Now normally my toilet's a hole in the ground, which I'll fill in again because I'm respectful. It's a typical long drop toilet, so basically they wait till the hole's filled up and then we dig it out and compost it. There are public toilets available around, or if I was really desperate and I had an urgent need, I suppose I could ask a farmer if I could crap in his ditch. Okay guys, so what I'm doing at the moment is cutting some fresh feed for Nico and Naylor, and also because this is going to become their new area, I'm clearing a space for the when the electric fence goes round. I use the scythe because I like it. I have a side gig of standing in for Death when he's busy with other places. And plus it's cheaper than using a strimmer because there's no electric involved, and it gives me super abs. And as you can see, it cuts through the grass easily. The only thing I need to do is probably once or twice stop and sharpen it up again. So just excuse me, I'll finish this. Favourite thing about living this way is the freedom. It's the release from rules and constraints that you face when you're living a civilised life. It's the fact that I'm having my adventure on my terms. It's the company of my animals. My least favourite thing, I can't think of anything. I mean, there's days when I just think, oh, bugger it, you know. It's not good, but it's part of the experience. Would I change anything? Yeah, there's one thing I would definitely change. I'd get myself a jacuzzi that would fit on top of there so I could climb onto it and have bubble baths. That's about the only thing
Would you ever go back to a house, a flat,
Nope.
full-time job?
Nope. No, never. My last place when I was living over by Saletsgriever, when we first talked, the guy there had gone away and he says, can I live in his cabin? Because he had plants he wanted watered. I lasted 3 days and it just didn't feel right. If the opportunity came, let's say somebody watched this, said, oh, I've got a cabin, you could stay there. Possibly I would stay there. It'd have to feel right. But it's not like I have an ultimate goal to get myself somewhere to live. I've got somewhere to live. It is all I need. I enjoy it. You probably think this is a pretty extreme life. This is no different than going camping at the weekend. It's just that I go camping every day, you know. So if you think it's something that interests you, go camping. Do a bit of wild camping. Don't go to the place which has got the shop and everything with it. Just do a basic camp. Get yourself a cheap tent so you've got a bit of shelter and have a weekend and see if you enjoy. And, you know, maybe that's all you need is to do it for weekends. You don't have to become intentionally homeless. You don't have to live like this. You can have a comfortable experience and realise how much fun it actually is. All right, folks, so thanks for your time, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, learnt a bit more about Trax Anglis, the crazy Englishman, and yeah, if you want to know any more, feel free to go and visit one of my pages. The links will be in the description. Yeah, thanks very much for watching.
Alright guys, well thanks for tuning in there, and a big thanks to Mike for sharing a story with us and showing us around.
Make sure to follow him on the socials, the links will be down below, and if you do want to support Mike, then his Ko-fi page and his Patreon will be linked down below too. And we also have a Patreon page, so that'll be linked down below for those who want to see behind the scenes content of our filming trips. See you in the next one.